Hey there, thanks for watching. Hillary here. I want to talk about some stats. The majority of my coaching clients are chiropractors like myself. So, this is going to be a little bit geared towards chiropractic. However, I think that the information is still applicable kind of across any like service professional. Um, what we keep track of every day are like our patient visits, and that is oftentimes abbreviated as like PV if you're not familiar with these terms yet. So obviously we want to keep track of our patient visits every day and our new patients every day. And then your software should be able to print reports like how much revenue you billed out that day, whether it was a cash patient or insurance patient. And then you'll get a number that is the collected amount. And keep in mind that the collected amount is always, well, it's not always lower, but it's different than the total revenue. So in a daily basis, even if you're a cash practice, maybe you don't collect the amount every time for that patient, and maybe they're on like a monthly package or a weekly package, or they forgot to pay that day and they're going to catch up next time. So that's why your collected amount for the day is generally a different number than the revenue. And if you're an insurance practice, then keep in mind that your collected amount is generally a lot lower than your revenue because of the write-offs and things like that with insurance. So I always look at those numbers, and then I take the total collected number every month and divide it by how many patients we saw so I can get our patient visit average. So wanting to know on average how much each patient is bringing in. Now, when I get these numbers, you might be like, well, what do you do with it once you do that? I set goals based on these numbers. And for instance, if I look at the patient visit average, like how much that patient, a general patient, is paying on each visit that they come in, also could be considered an office visit average, like the amount on average the patients pay. For instance, if your patients pay, let's say $25 is your average amount that you get per patient, and it costs you $50 per patient to run the clinic, then you're going to know that there's something wrong and you're going to be draining money somewhere. So, to know how much your office needs to make per month, right, to break even, then you would just take all of your expenses and add them up. Now, if let's say you have 10,000 in expenses per month and then you have 15,000 in collected, then ideally then you should have like 5,000 left over, right? Well, take that 10,000 that you need to survive for your practice, divide that by your patient visits that month, and that should give you like how much you need each patient to bring in. So when we do cash in insurance, when I look at some of the insurance carriers that pay us, let's say $24 for an adjustment, but technically maybe it costs our office $50 to run the business per patient to break even, right? If we continue to have the patients that are $24, we're technically losing money every visit on those patients. So at that point, then we strategize, like, what are we going to do to change that and bring those numbers closer together? And that's something that I work on with my own office, and I work on with my coaching clients. So that's it gets a little bit deeper into it. But looking at your dollar visit average or your patient visit average, like the amount of money that they're bringing in is good to note every month. I like to set goals, and I've talked about them on here before. I like to set goals for the year. I break it down into months, but I break it down into seasons of the year. Like the beginning of the year is slower for us, and then it ramps up, and then it dies down a little bit in the summer, and then it ramps back up again once school and fall and winter hits. So I break down my total amount that I want. Like let's just say I want to do $1 million a year. Some months are going to be higher than others, but at the end, all the 12 months are going to be combined to be a collected amount of $1 million. At that point, then I take each month down and I say, well, if I needed 80,000 this month, there's 4 months, that's 20,000 per week. And we work 5 days a week. So I just keep dwindling it down. And so I know how much we need to make and whether or not we're on track. So I keep this cute little book. I'll show you this real quick. It's called an ADIO planner. Another chiropractor posted about it, and I thought that was really cute. It has most of the stats in here that I like to look, and it has like projects that you're working on for the week, for the month, the team training that you're doing, any books you're reading, and then it goes into like weekly targets. So I like to do this every week and see how my last week was, and then what I'm working forward to this week. I think that looking at the stats regularly helps keep you on track so you know where you are versus like, oh, it's the last 2 days of the month and I'm nowhere near where my goal was. Shoot, I better like rush in, collect all this money, or call on these insurance checks, or get these patients to pay. If you could just like little by little look every week and determine like what needs to be done. So a little insight into how we do our stats at the office. Let me know if you have any questions. I know it was kind of brief, but I had some questions about it. And come to find out, not a lot of people keep track of stats as diligently as I do. But I really think that the numbers can tell a lot about the business and the health of everything. Enjoy.